Imagine having a moneymaker Notion agent directly in your workspace. Before I start, let me save you some time. If you don't yet have a well-structured Notion workspace, nor is it information dense, then this video is likely not for you. But if you have regular client meetings and you automatically transcribe those meeting notes directly in your Notion workspace, you might be sitting on a goldmine. Depending also on how diligently you fed your workspace with these meeting notes, you can use these to identify new revenue streams. But how do you ask me? You need two things in place. First, you will need to have a database with your meeting notes, and secondly, a solid prompt so that the Notion agent can deliver. In this video, I'll show you how to build just that. Hi, I'm Natascha Buck, founder of systemsmart.io and a certified Notion consultant since 2021. Let's start with building a database for the transcripts. I have already something in store. Let me paste this in. So basically, this is my meeting database or my meeting notes database. Very likely you want to have at least 3 columns to capture first and last names maybe, and as well company name, then the date when it occurred, and maybe you want to link it to directly to a third-party software that you've used for transcribe a meeting. You also could use the AI meeting notes block whenever you are recording something or having a meeting. And then once the meeting has been completed, let's do here a quick transcription here. Once the meeting is over and the transcription is ended like so, then you could move the entire information directly into a new, like so, and then it will be. That's also one way of how you could capture meeting notes using the AI meeting note block in Notion. Okay, so these are some data that I have captured from previous conversations, neutralized of course, and I would like to have the AI go through these conversations and identify new revenue streams. So now we've done this, let's check this off, and then let's start building the Notion agent prompt. For that, I'm going to move this one to the very bottom, and let's create here some space. And the first thing we have to think about, what are the ingredients that we need for this kind of prompt so that the Notion agent really can work for us. So definitely we will need to have a section where we give it a role. Next thing would be that we define what kind of output format we want. Let's put one here, and this would consist of example and then the structure of how the replies should look. But then also I think the AI should know who it is dealing with. So I would provide some context, and maybe you have an about page about your business, maybe a business profile, and maybe you also have existing products. And the reason why I'm recommending this here is that this is to prevent redundancy. If the agent comes up with the same suggestions for product and you have them already as services or products, then yeah. Waste of time. So I would provide a list of existing products, and maybe if you have already from a marketing perspective, maybe you have a really distinguished point of view, and then I would include this as well. And these 3 items could be subpages, or even better, you could build a directory in your Notion workspace where you build this once and only reference to this later. Let me show you what I mean by that. So for the sake of this video, let's create here a page which serves as a person's profile, and I've saved some text that I want to reference to it. And for you, it maybe makes sense to create this kind of page centrally and only reference to it like I have here with an existing document already somewhere else in my workspace. Yeah. So then let's remove this. So what's left is build out what kind of a role we want, which equals the prompt itself. And let's fetch this as well. This is the prompt that I have come up with. Instead, I'm giving it a role and going to ask it how to work or do the work for me, and then also reference the information that I'm providing on this page. And then here we would need to provide some output formats here as well. Future Natascha here from the editing room. If you're thinking, I really need this, but I don't have time to build this, I help teams build systems in Notion like this all the time. And if you are already building on your own and want real structure that scale with your team size, join the System Studio waitlist. It's a membership program that helps you build AI-centric operations in Notion, without tool hacks, without template traps, just a clear path. The links in the description below. So now let's provide some examples on what kind of output format we want to have. I have created here already one. How I wanted to go about is based on the uploaded conversations or transcripts that I'm providing in this page, which is here below the meeting notes. Then I want to list up a offer idea, explain why I came to this, and what I also want is to maybe identify gaps like so, and then come up with a gap problem, and then maybe with an idea on what I could provide. I have now given an output format. I'm going to provide examples. So here is an offer idea based on opportunity, and here is an idea on how it could have identified a gap and came up with a suggestion here as well. So this is done as well. So the final last bit would be what are the inputs that it gets. I could give here some instruction and then move the meeting notes database up. I went ahead and structured the page a bit, just that you can follow along. I decided to structure the headers a bit better so that it's clear what is the output format and what are the titles or the headers below within it. And maybe you want to go ahead and structure it like this as well. So basically we have now who it should be, given some context about me so that it knows in which frame it actually has to think, then what I'm expecting of it structure-wise, and then here's some real-life examples, and then here is the input format or the data that it should be working on. So we've built a database that contains your transcripts in case you haven't. Then we've built the Notion agent prompt here, as you can see. Obviously, the first output will always be delivered in the chat, but I want to have a placeholder just to make sure that it's not going to override anything that's above that page. And then lastly, I'm going to activate here the AI chat. And I have customized or personalized this already with this pink flower. And you can also change here the way of how it responds to you if you have a preference. I've selected here the analyst because I think analyzing transcripts requires a pretty analytical perspective. Okay, so I'm going to copy now these instructions, make sure that I have selected the prompt here, paste it in here and run it straight away on this page. So let's see what's happening. Now, Notion AI has provided me here its analysis here, which I think looks really nice and which is pretty comprehensive. Very likely not all of these ideas may make sense. So you could refine this here in the chat, or if you want to, you could start to save those conversations into a database. And here we are landing at my pro tip is that once you're happy with the conversations, I recommend that you save this. You can anytime go over here and hover over the Notion AI in your navigation bar and click on chat history. And this one will show you when you had your last conversations with a timestamp and a quick summary of the title. But I found that especially in the beginning, when you run these chats quite often to just fine tune your prompt, you will end up with a lot of similar content and maybe not all of them are really worth your while. So what I have started doing is having a central database with all the AI conversations I had within the Notion workspace, because when I'm prompting it to put the conversation in a new page is a part of a database, this allows me to connect it with any other databases in my workspace. So for example, in this situation, maybe you have a products database that also contains your services, and throughout time you may have had several conversations to create new products or refine your products, and then it's a really nice thing to see what kind of conversations are related to a particular product or which conversations led to creating a new product. And this will be really handy in the future to sort of recapitulate or reconstruct why you've landed somewhere with a certain product. In order to do that, what you can do is have here a database, and I've called this my AI Notion canvas here, like this. Currently, I have saved one only. But what I can do here is now reference this database here. So I'm just going to prompt it to add this conversation as a new page into my conversations database. Let's hit enter and see how it's going to add this to this database. Yes, perfect. So here's my new entry. And I also highly recommend to create a property to capture the created art time so that you have a nice history and can reconstruct conversations by title, by linking it to other databases, but also by time. So let's open this one to have a quick check on the replies. Looks really lovely. And the next level would be to maybe add a summary property that's AI driven. Here I have activated the autofill feature so that when I'm here, it auto updates the page edits and creates a summary here straight away, which I feel is pretty handy. And over time, this database will become really lengthy, and having here a summary is then definitely really useful and saves you time. All right, that's it from this video. I hope this was very useful. If you want to hear and see more of me, please follow this channel, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye bye.